Question number 3, David Shearer.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Prime Minister, does he stand by all his statements?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Thank you. Is it correct that Section 14 of the GCSB bill that prevents targeting of New Zealand citizens for intelligence gathering purposes does not prevent targeting of New Zealanders for cyber security purposes as outlined under Section 8A of the bill?
Mr Speaker, Section 8A makes it quite clear in terms of cyber security what the purpose is. In particular, it says to do everything that is necessary or desirable to protect the security and integrity of communications and information infrastructure. That is backed up by Section 15A, which makes it also quite clear under what purposes a warrant can be issued, which of course would be required, and it says it has to fit the purpose of performing the function under Section 8A. I'm sorry the member doesn't understand the law, but that's his problem, not mine.
Order. Supplementary question.
What about order?
Point of order.
My question was very specific. It actually asked about Section 14 of the GCSB bill.
Order.
None of which he's actually...
I'm going to invite the member to repeat his question.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Is it correct that Section 14 of the GCSB bill that prevents targeting of New Zealand citizens for intelligence gathering purposes does not prevent targeting of New Zealanders for cyber security purposes as outlined under Section 8A of the bill?
Speaker,
right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Members getting confused. Section 14 applies to New Zealanders as in relation to, not in relation to cyber security. That is Section 8C. Section 8A is in relation to cyber security.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Wouldn't it be better that the protection of New Zealanders against cyber intrusion by GCSB be stated clearly in the bill to give them reassurance that their content won't be accessed?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, that's the very point. It is in the law already. It's in the law, and yes, it is. I'm afraid it is in the law. It's in relation to Section 8A, which makes it quite clear to cyber security. The function is for protection, not for surveillance. Section 15A makes it quite clear a warrant is required. I've made it quite clear that within those warrants, and I'm spelling out what no other Prime Minister before me has actually ever done, and that is tell the House how I'm going to be using the warranting provisions.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Is there a specific clause in the bill that will allow a two-stage warrant process as he has outlined?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes, Mr Speaker, because what I've said is under Section 15A of the bill, a warrant will be required that has to fit the purpose of Section 8A, and that is about the protection of data. I've also made it quite clear that those warrants will exclude content being viewed from New Zealanders. Yes, it will. And the member who is a member of the ISC will be able to check up any time he likes by asking the director when they come once a year.
That's reassuring.
Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Does he agree that the fact that he's needed to clarify the law through the media and through a third reading speech that we're expecting show that rushing through legislation as important as this in an ad hoc manner does not give New Zealanders reassurance?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, no, the opposite. Actually, this side of the House completely understands the legislation and has. This side of the House has made it quite clear right the way through that the cyber security function is about the protection of data. It's about protecting secrets, not getting other people's secrets, which is what 8C is all about. Mr Speaker, this side of the House came into the Parliament to debate the legislation, understanding it. That side of the House had absolutely no clue, spent hours and hours and hours on part one, making stuff up through a filibustering process, and now when it finally understands the law, it wants to do...
Order. Point of order.
I think that was gone on long enough.
Well, order. The member might well say that, but that's not a point of order, and it's not his role to determine whether it's gone on quite long. But, order. I apologise to the member. I have a point of order.
This is a point of order. I want to know why you didn't stop the Prime Minister in that finishing diatribe that went on for a long time.
Order. The member will resume his seat. I'm the one who determines when a question has gone on for long enough. In that particular case, I was rising to my feet as the member, David Shearer, rose to his feet, but I will judge the length of answers and the length of questions, not the right honourable gentleman. Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Is he prepared to include a protection of New Zealanders against cyber intrusions in his legislation and support my SOP on the matter?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, it's already there. I've given it. Well, you see, Mr Speaker, when you don't understand the law and then all of a sudden you act like a bush lawyer and then it gets pointed out to you.
That answer's not going to help the order of the House. Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Is the Prime Minister saying that the Law Society, the Human Rights Commission, the Privacy Commissioner, Geoffrey Palmer's and many others also don't understand the law?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
Here we go. Order. 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 Supplementary question, David Shearer.
Mr Speaker, did he or anyone in his office ever contact the Labor Party to obtain broader support for the bill?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I cannot believe the member's asking that question. If he wants me to answer it, I'll get on my feet and do so.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Order. Point of order.
I think that was a question. Did anyone in his office, he or in his office, ever contact the Labor Party to obtain broader support for the bill?
Right Honourable.
Contact me.
Order. Right Honourable. Order.
Okay.
Order. I want to hear the answer.
Okay.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Yes, Mr Speaker. So, after one of the Intelligence and Security Committees, I asked Mr Shearer if he'd like to come to my office to have a discussion. We sat down and had about a 30-minute discussion where Mr Shearer said, keep this confidential. If you come out and say we've done it, that won't look good, and I don't want you shouting it out about the House. My Deputy Chief of Staff went to see Mr Goff and also went to see Mr Robinson. On numerous occasions we reached out, and at one point, and if the member really wants to get down and dirty, members of the Labor Party said they didn't understand the law.
The Bledisloe Cup was on Saturday.
So he is saying...
David Shearer, supplementary question.
He is saying that he initiated contact with me after the...
Order. The member has every right to have a supplementary heard. David Shearer.
Is he saying that he made contact with me after the IESC meeting? And it was my request that he should remember that.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I'm afraid the member is wrong. I went up to the member after the IESC and said, quote unquote, do you want to come to my office? To which the member said yes, and I said we'd probably take the stairs to avoid the other guys, and we actually waited for the other members, in particular Dr Norman, to leave, so you didn't see him. You didn't see you coming up to my office.
If members on the right-hand side wish to see the balance of question time, they should respect the position I take when I stand and call for order. Question number 4.
Mr Speaker, supplementary.
Oh, supplementary question.
In the course of that discussion, did he say to me that he didn't really care whether we supported it or not because he already had Peter Dunn over the line?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I didn't say exactly I didn't care. I'll paraphrase the words roughly. What I said was we had the numbers to pass the legislation, and I knew that if for political reasons he was just going to carry on the way he was going because Grant Robinson was calling the shots, fair enough, we'd just get on and do it. The member also said he wanted the sunset clause, and I said you've got to have rocks in your head if you want to have that, because if you ever want to be Prime Minister, you'll never get the Greens over the line.
Order. Order. Question number 4, Shane Arden. Order. Order. Question number 4, Shane Arden.
Thank you, Mr.